YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And I'm about a half an hour late on making sense out of nonsense. But better here than never. All right, so let's see. Before we get started, got to make sure the notifications have gone out. Yep, there it is. Black Panther. Yeah, that's the thumbnail for this one. Black Panther. All right, so it is 7:35 when I see people. Yep. Hello, Molly, Kat. Here we go. Patsy. People are coming in. There it is. Oh, yeah. All right. I think the trumpet has sounded. And people are responding. That's what I'm talking about. So, as you all know, I'm working that vampire shift, those night hours. So I got to go ahead and get it in quickly so I can get ready to go to work. But also, need sleep too. I mean, that what, like 2 or 3% human in me. I'm not all cyborg. I have to get rest. So, I ended up sneaking in about another extra half an hour before I started the show. So that's why I'm late. Yeah. And then I couldn't sleep. I wasted a whole half an hour laying there thinking, all right, come on, Kev, you can go to sleep. No, wait a minute. Maybe you should get up. Yeah, no, I'll go to sleep. You know what? Get up. Nah, you know what? Forget it. Yeah, I wasted more time contemplating on whether I should just get up or not than sleep. But anyway, with that being said, you guys, I'm assuming can hear me. And apparently you can see me because I can see myself down there. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get busy. Silverback. Real good. Real good. Real good.
There's some kings in the building. Do your best, let me show some respect.
Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Yeah, man. And there's a Kevin's Corner store in here too. So y'all can go ahead and get your merch and all those good things. Somebody said, sound like I'm getting sick. Yeah, this is how I sound, y'all, when I first get up for about the first hour or so. Yeah, I got nothing but bass in the voice. Yeah, bass in the voice. Come on. Yeah. Sometimes it's even worse than this. Sometimes I get up sounding straight up like Barry White. My darling, I can't get enough of your love, baby. Yeah. So it'll clear up after a while once I get the juices flowing and stuff like that. There we go. So now, don't forget, I do have a Kevin's Corner store. You can check out some merch there. The phone number right there, 330-974-4607. All right, if you get a chance, you can text MAGA to that number just in case I get X'd on this platform here, and at least be able to let everybody know what's going on. We stay connected somehow, figure out where we're going to meet since they're playing games over here. And then if you want to support the channel through my Cash App or my PayPal link, you can do that as well, along with contributing to the Super Chat or simply just watching videos, sharing them, and liking them. All those things matter. So with that being said, we might as well jump in feet first.
Every child that lives in peace, every home that is filled with joy and love, every day the Republic stands is only possible because of those who did what had to be done when duty called.
You hear that? That's Presidente Trump talking about our fallen soldiers for Memorial Day. Yeah, the folks who sacrificed that the left, for whatever reason, appears to not realize what they did and why they did it. Yeah, you think they're trying to celebrate the men and the women that sacrificed their time, their lives, their health, and all of that stuff so we can have freedom of speech that they hate, so we can have the right to bear arms, which they hate. All the stuff that these folks died for, it seems like the left want to unravel it. Yeah, they're out there trying to get it back in, reel it in. No, we don't want that. So if I'm somebody who have a family member or somebody who even died, I know if you'd be looking back going, what did I die for again? I'm watching politicians right now want to remove freedom of speech, want to do the same stuff that we was over there in World War I and II fighting to prevent. And now you got some folks over here on the left that is infiltrating our country and trying to undermine all of those wonderful sacrifices. So Trump comes out, being the patriot that he is, and he's giving a wonderful speech talking about the sacrifice of all of those people who died in the in the war to keep us safe and to keep our freedom flowing. But guys, you know, if there's a positive, there's a negative. See, so now here's Trump celebrating our fallen soldiers.
And the cost was everything to them and to their families.
Yeah.
Our debt to them is eternal, and it does not diminish with time. It only grows.
Yep. It only grows. I mean, I don't know about y'all. I don't know what your favorite war movie was, but mine is Saving Private Ryan. And I'm going to tell you right now, that opening scene in Saving Private Ryan really drove home the sacrifice that these men made on that beach. I mean, in every man's head, he's tougher than the next man. But boy, when you watch that scene, you wonder, how would I have reacted in that situation? Soon as those doors opened, they knew that they was in trouble. And you got guys over there, 17 maybe, snuck in like my grandfather did in the Navy. I'm 18. Back then, I guess they didn't check, you look 18, that's fine, go ahead, get in there. But you got guys over there, 17, 18, 19, 20, you know, no family, no kids, all these dreams and stuff. And they're saying, you know what, to keep those dreams alive, we got to go over there and fight to do that. Knowing that even though I'm fighting to preserve the dreams that I have as a free person in America, at the same time, I could lose my life and forfeit all of those dreams. And many of them did, as soon as those doors opened. I mean, I was sitting there trying to test my bravery, watching that scene a couple months ago. And I'm like, man, would I have been one to, as soon as the door opened, rush out, talking about, yeah, let's go get them, banzai? Or would I have been under a pile of bodies going, oh, shoot, please don't kill me. I don't want to die. I don't want. You never know how you're going to respond in a situation like that. I would pray that God would give me the strength to march forward with nothing but honor and bravery. But it really showed that these folks made major sacrifices to go out there knowing I ain't going to never see my mama no more. I ain't gonna never get a girlfriend. I'm gonna die right here on this here beach. And if I don't die, there's a good chance I'm gonna be maimed for the rest of my life. Coming back home with no legs or arm blown off, all that stuff. You know, all of those things that those men went through. And then you see the left trying to unravel so many things that our country enjoyed to be free. Now, what is this though? Because we heard Trump. What's this though? Okay, whoa, what's this? Chicago? Oh, shoot. Wait a minute. So Chicago reigns as country's homicide capital for 13 straight years. Can you believe that? Now, is that a good title? Is that a good record to have? Unbelievable. So you mean to tell me Mayor Conehead up there is keeping tradition? He's like, you know what? I think this year we're going to go ahead and win it again. Yeah, they're breaking records. Yeah, their jerseys need to be retired. Chicago should have their jersey retired when it comes down to shite towns. There it is. Put them right up on the wall of shame. Yep, retired like this. You know, the longest running murder per capita state city in the United States. So let's see what Mayor Shite Town is up to, because I would think that he would come out talking about how they're going to shut down all of these crazy kids running around, you know, acting a fool. I would think he'd come out talking about, you know what, we live in a wonderful country that would allow me, the worst, sorriest mayor in the country, the one with the lowest, you know, approval, yeah, allow me, a raggedy cone head mayor, to be in power. You would think that's what he would come out and say for Memorial Day, right? But you know that's not going to happen because he's a dummy. Little Moonlight Sonata. Yes, yes.
I am Mayor Brandon Johnson, and I am proud to join you in recognizing and celebrating Africa Day.
Do you see this big face dude right here? Do you see this butter neck? This guy right here. Hello, I'm Mayor Conehead, and I'm proud to celebrate Africa Day. Where do you live, man? That's my question. I mean, did something happen up in Chicago we don't know about? Did Africa end up, buying Chicago now in this, Providence of Africa or something? Africa Day, I don't even know what that is. Honestly, I've never heard of that holiday. I'm sitting there going, what the Africa Day? What do you do to celebrate Africa Day? All right, go get some dashikis, kids. Give me a beanie and go break out the Congos and stuff. There we go. So boop, 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 boop. What do you do to celebrate Africa Day? So now that big face guy had to come out talking about some, hello, I'm Mayor Brandon Johnson, and I'm happy to celebrate Africa Day. What a loser. I'm telling you right now, man, I would be on the first train smoking if I lived in Chicago. I'd walk away from it all, just like the Afrikaners. They like, you know what, I got a great life here, but I gotta go. Because I'm under some raggedy leadership. That's what I would do. I would bounce. So that's what this guy is celebrating right here, Africa Day, which we still are yet to know what that means. Is it all of Africa? Is it some parts of Africa? Is it whatever? I don't know. What do they do? Africa's a large place. There's so many different countries in Africa. They all have different traditions and all of that stuff. But this guy just says Africa Day.
Africa Day.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
No, he doesn't. You just don't get it, do you? You don't. No, and he never will. But you know what he is going to get? Booted out. That's what he's going to get. Yeah, with that approval rating, boy, that dude right now. I mean, can you imagine going down having the lowest approval rating of all times? I mean, that's piss poor. But he worked hard for that approval rating. That man put in some overtime. He's like, you know what? I'm working hard to be the best at being the worst mayor of all times. Speaking of the best at being the worst, you know this person right here. There you go. She done transferred some of those eyelashes to that asymmetric weave that's hanging down. So much hair. Her head should be leaning like this because of all of that weave transferred to one side. There it is. So now, long weave, long lashes is on somebody's network again and should have a crick in her neck. Yeah, she could get a workout every day by doing this, by having so much hair hanging down on one side. There you go. So long weave, big lashes is back, and she's attacking Trump. So let's see what this latest attack is on Trump.
Oh yeah. I mean, he literally sounds like someone who has broken out of the insane asylum. Like, he just be all over the place. Like, get him some ADHD medicine, if nothing else, because I don't know where he's ever going to go. And I don't think that those that have gone through West Point expected to have their commander-in-chief address them and start talking about trophy wives or start talking about how he had so many investigations. What a great...
Now, do you see camel eyelashes? Do you see snuffleupagus eyelashes? Do you see asymmetric weave girl? So now she's up here trying to trash Trump. Now, what do you think they would have felt if they'd have stuck her butt up there to talk? What about Biden? How about that? When he was stumbling and falling, they had to pick him up. Things like that. You think they appreciated Biden out there? Were you criticizing Biden when he went over there and made a fool of himself? And if you got up there, I bet you they might boo you. Yeah, they would take the risk of getting court-martialed or something just to boo you out of there. I know what your butt would do, eyelashes. You get up there and talk about white supremacy, white nationalism, discrimination, racism, and America sucks. But ma'am, aren't we serving the country and willing to die for it. It doesn't matter. It still sucks. It's dominated by all of that stupid stuff. So now she's trying to do what she always does, what the Democrats always do. Try to criticize Trump, making up stuff, inferring things, twisting his words, all of this stuff, and then trying to suggest that he might be in mental decline while overlooking Joe Biden's obvious mental decline. These folks got some nerve. Some nerve. I mean, you think these soldiers are more proud to have Biden up there talking to them or Trump? But here she goes. They bring her on the show just for moments like this. Trump does something great. The people enjoy it and love it. The media looks at it and says, okay, we can't let that happen. We can't let folks walk away looking at what Trump just did or said and go, man, that was a good speech. That was nice. It's inspiring. So now let's go ahead and pick this speech apart and try to make it seem like Trump's unhinged. He made no sense. He was wandering all over the place. I don't know. I mean, he talked about Joe Biden, but so let's finish hearing what asymmetric weave, long eyelash girl have to say.
Reminder that you are not qualified to be the person that potentially will command us as troops.
Did you hear this fool? That is exactly why she goes on shows like MSNBC. You think she'd come? You think maybe we can get an interview with long eyelashes in Kevin's corner? I like to hear her try to peddle that garbage to me. I thought you can't be the commander in chief for the troops and stuff like. And I'm going. So wait, the guy who got 13 service members killed. There you go. Came out talking about we're going to get those Americans back, no matter what. And I still don't remember what happened to him. Nobody came back and said that, yeah, we finally took them all out of Afghanistan. That guy. The guy who never called the family members of those 13 people that were killed. The guy who was at the ceremony checking his watch several times. That guy. Yeah. And here she is talking about Trump's not fit to be the commander-in-chief. The guy who deterred all of our enemies when he was in office the first time, while these fools were talking like he's going to take us into World War III. And now he's back in, and he has even more respect this time. Folks don't want a piece of the U.S. under Trump. But this fool right here, this unqualified dang on politician, got the nerve that he's not qualified to be commander-in-chief. You're not qualified to even be in Congress. But let's continue because you're a gift to us.
To go into war. Like, that is not instilling confidence whatsoever. And honestly, our troops deserve better. Our graduates deserve better.
Now you know she's just blowing smoke because she's on MSNBC. Yeah, she's just throwing that stuff out there because she is in a safe zone. And the whole purpose of MSNBC is to trash Trump. See, so this lady's going to sit back and go, yes, continue. Yes, vomit up more lies. Do that, please. So I guess that's why Trump is so popular then with our military and our police and the border patrol and anybody who has a job that requires them to put their life on the line. Who do you think they would trust more? Creepy Sleepy or Trump? The man who is not a war hawk, he's not a globalist, and he says, look, we're going to be strong and powerful and we're going to deter all of our enemies through strength. We're not going to be doing stupid stuff like inching over towards World War III, talking about, don't worry, Ukraine, we'll continue to give you money until the end. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to put boots on the ground because Ukraine can't win. You know, that guy, the guy who could have woken up and just said, you know what, today, I think we should just go to war with us. Yeah, nobody wants to go to war under a Democrat, especially Creepy Sleepy. We have no idea what we're fighting for. We could be fighting for them to get kickbacks or to topple a regime or to spread globalism and spread our Marxism from the Democrat Party and all of that stuff. We don't know. I wouldn't trust going anywhere under Creepy Sleepy's command talking about let's do this. I'd be like, man, it's the time for me to retire out of the military before I go off and support something stupid that came out of the Democrat Party. So now, here we go with her talking about that they shouldn't trust Donald Trump and stuff like that. Can't back that up. Can't justify why they all love him so much. But yet you're telling everybody on your raggedy network, MSNBC, the troops can't trust him and stuff like that. He's not fit to be the commander in chief.
We as a country deserve better. And frankly, if we are going to ever be seen as the world leaders that we historically have been, the world deserves better. It is time for Republicans to start calling him out and start questioning his mental acuity.
See? You see this stuff? So I'm starting to wonder if they didn't throw Joe Biden under the bus because of his mentity, so that they could go ahead and say, well, now, look, hey, we question Joe's, so now we got to question Trump's. I'm just saying, don't think we overlook Joe's. See, that we've learned from Joe, because we didn't know he was in trouble mentally. But now that we know that, we're bringing it up, we're questioning it to see why. So we should be able to do that to Trump now, knowing that Trump is not breaking down mentally. We all know that. They all know it. But every day it's the same old thing. I mean, these folks use politics like a game. They're not serious people, man. I mean, how about you mature and be able to say, you know what, that was a good speech. You know what, Republicans aren't all racist. You know what, Trump does some good things. You know what, I agree with some things that he does. I might disagree here or there. But nope, every day it's a game to them. They get up and they figure out, how can I lie, manipulate, or, distract or undermine, the people over there. So just so I can get back in power, just so we can control the lives of Americans poorly, not just control it, but poorly control it, just so we can do that every single day. That's what my goal is. It's not to figure out how to improve the lives of Americans, better their lives, bring us all together, create some unity. No, it is all revolving around hating Trump just so we can get back in power. That is it. So it's a game to them. It's a business and it's a game to them. It's not about the people, because you can't tell me that every day, everything that Trump says and does is horrible. That's what they're saying. It's horrible. This crap is so bad now. I'm looking back at the politics of the 80s and the 90s. And I say, man, I don't remember this. I don't remember. There was times where I saw Democrats and Republicans getting together, and they sometimes would agree on things. And it wasn't every day to run into the network talking about, what, Bill Clinton said this today. And all that is him just being or Ronald Reagan was, there was a little bit of unity, civility, some type of respect. This chick's just coming out lying, making up stuff. Boy, I tell you, man, I hope she gets beat real good. Primaried. Let's see.
And whether or not he is equipped to serve mentally, we know when it comes down to his criminality, he is not qualified to serve. But
somebody needs to look into her situation. But these guys' criminality, all those fake, bogus charges. But see, once again, she's able to get away with this while sitting on MSNBC because they're not a real network. Yeah, nobody's going to question that statement about his criminality. Trump was never a criminal until he ran against the Democrats. He was able to skirt and disguise, all of that criminality, for years. And then all of a sudden he runs against the Democrats. And they were able to go ahead and flush out all of these crimes that Trump was committing or something like that. So she knows that those are bootleg, trumped up charges, no pun intended. She knows that. But she also knows nobody would even question her. But what I am questioning is, how did you get those eyelashes off the nearest camel? That's what I'm questioning. There's a camel that is eyelashless right now walking around somewhere. Did you go to the zoo? Ask for a one-on-one with the camels? I thought, you know what? Can I see this camel because I'm Jasmine Ratchet? No, I'll be right back. I'm just going to go in and pet the camel. Snip! There it is. So now this chick with these long, fake, snuffleupagus eyelashes got the nerve to be talking about his criminality and his mental state needs to be questioned. Unbelievable, man, these people. And they know. They can only push this crap on these networks, and only the most radical, stupid voters would listen to her and say, yeah, I think Trump is in mental decline. So let's continue.
this is just absolutely deplorable.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Anton Chigurh, she doesn't. And this is what I feel. Every single day that I watch these dummies run to the microphone, and I'm just like, you don't know what you're talking about, do you? That's how I feel. The sigh. I mean, it's in the bone, it's in the gut. I mean it from my heart, where I'm going, y'all don't know what you're talking about. And then sometimes they do know what they're talking about. They're just evil. Yeah, they come out and they say stuff that is ignorant, that is non-factual, that is evil, deceptive, all of that stuff, because that's who they are. That's all they have. Anton Chigurh. So let's go ahead and continue, because now guess what, y'all? Fake hair having, asymmetric leaning, long eyelashes is going for a leadership role, y'all. That's what she's shooting for in a Democrat party, y'all. She wants to go ahead and change the dynamics of the Democrat Party so that they what? So that they could focus on the people and maybe change the image of the Democrat Party, maybe come up with solutions that they could present to, the public and make the public go, okay, see, now there we go. All right, I'm feeling that. Now, so you ain't sliding in what? Nothing but just racism, sexism, xenophobia, and all that stuff. You're trying to tell me that here's a policy that y'all might be able to pass that will better my life? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly why she's running for this leadership position. So let's see.
Jasmine Crockett, I love her. Mm-hmm. She is amazing.
Yeah.
I think that people want to see somebody who fights and calls out the bullshit.
You see Peter Pan? You see this guy right here? You see this skinny, dang on hula hoop with a Cheerio boy right here? So now this guy right here, who loves Jasmine Ratchet and loves the Democrat Party, who just got his butt booted. So, yep, all of that wokeness, came back to haunt this dude. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. The left always eats its own. Yeah, man. I guess they were tolerant, right? But wait a minute, he's not what is it they're looking for now? They then came up with some reason to get rid of him. I think they need a non-binary, the gender neutral, the asymmetric, the negative plus positive at the same time, the half man, half woman minotaur. There we go. I think Cyclops. They're looking for a Cyclops. You got to have all of these features, because if you don't have those, then unfortunately you can't run. So they made a mistake when they voted him in. They need a cycloptic, the minotaur that is also transgender, gender neutral binary, the negative and positive, left and up and down. So there you go. So now all of that wokeness came back to choke this guy right here, right out of a position. So he's soon to be booted, and he's mad, y'all. I wonder if he's going to walk away from that party. I wonder if he's going to realize, okay, man, maybe I hitched my wagon to the wrong party. I thought they were all about democracy, that they were fairness and all that. No, you didn't watch how the Democrats have been doing this to politicians for a while now. Yeah, what happened to Bernie Sanders? Oh, they kneecapped him. Yeah, they kneecapped that guy twice. Yeah, You didn't see that? So yeah. What goes around comes around. So let's continue hearing him talk about Jasmine Ratchet.
Ultimately, I think that's what Jasmine does. And we need a hell of a lot more people that are out there that are willing to do just that and call people out on their BS and not say, oh my God, Republicans are going to criticize me for saying this. Screw that. They're going to criticize you no matter what. So what we should be asking ourselves is, what are we really fighting for? Yeah. Because we know it matters.
Yeah. What are you really fighting for? More immigration. This guy right here, we're fighting for removing the guns from people. And yeah, he needs to be fighting for some more bass in his voice. Thank you. That guy right there is baseless too. So all of the stuff that we know these radical folks are fighting for. Yeah, that guy right there. He is the epitome of a leftist. I mean, and the Democrat Party, who are at least the old school folks in that party, they see the writing on the wall. They're like, oh crap, man, we are in competition with our own party because we've invited and encouraged all of these radical leftists that this is what we really believe, when in reality, we don't. Yeah, you think Nancy Pelosi believes in all of the stupid stuff that we hear come out of these folks' mouths? We get out there talking about, you think Joe Biden really supports transgenderism and all the kids he's talking? Yes, his 9-year-old can be transgender if he wants to. Nobody should stop him from living out his truth. Yeah, you think if Hunter would have came to Joe when he was 9, talking about that, Dad, I got 2 things to tell you. One, I'm addicted to crack. What? You're only 9, Hunter. Yeah, I know. I'm above the curve. But the second thing is I'm also transgender. What? You got a transformer? I bought you Optimus Prime the other day. Not a transformer, Dad. I said transgender. Man, he'd have had that dude committed. So if you think these folks really believe that mess, you're fooling yourself. However, when you get down to these new radical folks in their parties, you never know. Yeah. So now we know this dude is all bad, and the Democrats know he's all bad for them too, because he's too radical, too far left. They just lost an election because folks are going, y'all are crazy. And what do? They elevate more crazy people, like this guy's trying to, put a stamp of approval on Jasmine Ratchet.
And I think Jasmine is frankly the type of leader that we're really looking to support.
Yeah, David Hogg. Let's go ahead and nominate Ratchet. There we go. Great pick. So let's see what Ratchet's up to with her new position she's going for.
Consensus, right? Somebody who is out there that frankly doesn't give a damn what the other side, at least the elected Republicans in Congress say what they believe in, and at least even if you don't agree with her, you know what she stands for. Yeah, because she makes it very clear.
What? I hate Trump. White people are racist. All of that stuff, that's what she stands for? Oh, keep, of course, legal immigrants here. Leave them be. Make sure they're out there in the cornfields and baling the hay and doing all of the work that black folks don't want to do. Those type of things, those things she stands for. Oh, don't forget, long weaves and long eyelashes too. Okay, there you go. So let's see what Jasmine Ratchet's up to with this new position.
And people are really craving that right now. They don't want more politicians that say talking points that it doesn't even feel like they believe, or you don't even really know what they mean. They want somebody who's out there that says what they believe and doesn't care what somebody else thinks about.
We already got that. His name is Donald Trump. There you go. Why do you think he's been smacking y'all around for these last couple years? Because folks realize he's genuine, unlike the whole Democrat Party. Talking points, think tanks and stuff that they go through. I think this might work. Let's get out there and try to win over men by sticking David Hogg out there. David Hogg, we're going to put a voice modulator on your vocal cords to make you have a little more bass in your voice because you're turning away real men. That's what's happening. So we got to go ahead and alter your voice. Slow it down. You know what? We need the Jasmine Ratchet for it. And in reality, that dude sounds like Mickey Mouse. So let's go ahead as we look at this knucklehead, listening to David Hogg, and he got that serious face like he's really interested. Like, yeah, I'm feeling you. And I'm going, are you kidding me? You're listening to this idiot? He's about to walk y'all right into another loss if y'all going to stick Ratchet out there.
They want that authenticity.
Do you think they're going to push for investigations into Trump's family and the whole crypto acquisitions that he is getting?
Now you hear this? What a question. Do you think that there's going to be a push for more investigations? Are you kidding me? I mean, these people have been investigating Trump for years. They just don't get it, do they? Nobody wants to see these type of stupid, baseless investigations. So this lady now is really saying, I'm going to bring you on the show, and here's a couple of things I'm going to go ahead and ask, okay? I'm going to open up the door for you to, explain that we should go and investigate Donald Trump some more. Forget the 2 impeachments. Forget all of that. Forget afterwards all of those stupid attacks, all of those charges, all of those indictments. Forget all of that. Forget the fact that America rejected y'all for doing it all of those years. Forget that. Now what are they doing? Circling back on some baseless investigations. And look at her. Look at her. Yeah, you see that? She looked like she's being sassy, but really she's trying to balance that asymmetric weave on her head. Can't keep it steady. Yeah, gotta keep it in motion. So now here she is with that waterfall coming off the top of her head. And she's about to go ahead and talk about what? Not policies, no. Impeachments or investigations.
Well, Alex, I'm glad you asked.
I'm glad you asked, because I didn't know you was going to ask that. What a surprise. Right. 2 minutes before they even started this, she probably was like, you know what? I'm going to ask you about some investigation, so be ready. Now look at her face. Yeah, she got the surprise eyes. Like, yeah, you know I was going to ask that because we're fake. Yeah, our whole job is to try to destroy Trump. You know it. Yeah, come on, girl. Spew up whatever kind of garbage you want.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, so long as we end up taking the House, which I fully anticipate that we will do. And
not going to happen. We need to increase our lead in the House. We need to stomp this party into non-existence. Yeah, because see what's going to happen if we don't? If we let Ugly Foot right here get in office and get in power, listen to this.
We are going to work hard to obviously help our Senate colleagues as well. Then as someone who serves on the Oversight Committee and hopes to lead the Oversight Committee, I can guarantee you that we will do what we are supposed to do as constitutionally sworn members of the House.
No, you won't. No, you won't. You're going to waste your time. You're going to waste resources. You're going to, waste the patience of Americans who are, of course, supporting Trump. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to go in there and you're going to do exactly what y'all did all of those years, which was nothing but investigate Trump. Absolutely nothing. In fact, can anybody tell me anything that the Democrats have done in the last 10 years that is positive? Anything. I mean, I can't even remember. Even when they had the House and the Senate, I'm going, what did y'all do? I don't remember. I mean, what policies came out of this that we can say, yeah, that was pretty cool? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So now, as she sits back talking about the oversight, which basically means we're going to go ahead, tie up Trump with stupid investigations, waste tax dollars, and do nothing. We ain't going to come up with no policies. We ain't going to come up with, some counter arguments to what the Republicans are doing. We're going to jam them up if we win the House. That is why it is extremely important that this does not happen. I don't know what the Republicans are doing. I think they need to be doing more right now. For some reason, I don't feel like the Republicans are shaking and baking right now while they have the House and the Senate. They need to be codifying some of these things into law. They need to be preemptive. They need to be making sure that they push through bills and things like that. Get some changes done, man. But not only that, they need to be focusing on this midterm, making sure that these folks don't even sniff victory, don't even come close to getting the House or the Senate back. I want them to be stomped during the midterm so that they realize that we don't stand a chance. We need to increase that lead, man. Yeah, I don't want these folks talking about we could tie them up because they need X amount of votes from us. No, I don't want to have to rely on these dodo birds for nothing. Absolutely nothing. So now this is what she's going to do if she becomes, over the Oversight Committee.
Which means that we will conduct oversight. That means that we will investigate. We will look at whether or not this president himself has violated the emoluments clause as it relates to say such things as getting a $400 million plane from the Qataris. We also will make sure that we're looking into all these business deals that they have going on. I mean, think about it this way, Alex. They were going after Hunter because he sat on a board. Think about how much money they are raking in, whether we're talking about the next golf resort that they're setting up in Qatar, or whether we're talking about them leveling Gaza as they've talked about how it would be great beachfront property, whether we're talking about this.
You hear the dummy in the back? Yeah. I mean, all these things she's talking about, she knows Trump is not benefiting off of this stuff personally. She knows that. But everything that Trump does and says that is good, they got to try to make it seem like you ain't doing it just for the people. You ain't doing it just because it's a smart thing to do. Yeah, you're doing it because somehow it's going to enrich you more. Enrich you more. Yeah, he went through all of this hell. He ran through all of those landmines that the Democrats, the deep state, all of them were throwing right in front of him. He went through those mugs like Barry Sanders, dipping and a diving and a shaking and a baking. while they're exploding all around him, bullets flying, hitting him in the ear. He went through all of that so he can make some golf courts and stuff like that over in Qatar. Yeah, he went through that. I mean, you would think that whether he's a president or not, he got the type of pull and money where if he wanted to build a golf course over there, he wouldn't have to work to become president to do it. All right, I'm going to go through 8 years. No, wait. No, not 8. Yeah, because he went through 4 the first time. Then they lost. Well, he got cheated. Went through another 4. And now he's back. He went through 8 years of all that hell just so he could build some golf courts over there and some beachfront properties and stuff like that. Like his company wouldn't be able to do that unless he became president. So that was his diabolical scheme. His diabolical plan, ugly foot, because he couldn't do that on his own, was to say, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and become president of the United States. Spend all these years going through hell with the Democrats. And my brain is going to be, kind of scarred because of their lying and all of that stuff. I'm going to go through all this. Attempted assassinations and all of that. Just so we can open up the door to build some golf courts. There we go. That and maybe some beachfront property and stuff like that. Because I mean, we only got maybe a couple 90 million. We need more. We need more. Okay, so yeah, we need a little more than that now. And that golf course would tip us right over their top. There it is. You see how dumb these people sound? So now all these stupid investigations, that's what they'd be. They'd be stupid investigations with just simply trying to imply and infer that Trump's up to stuff.
Crypto scam, the scam that people didn't even want to walk into and show their faces. Let me tell you, there is no shortage of things for us to dig into and determine whether or not there have been not only violations of the law, but definitely violations of our Constitution as a whole.
Yeah. So stick ugly foot out there, like y'all been doing. Stick that crusty, nasty, stinking foot out there with those green and black toenails. That's how ugly she is. Yeah, but they keep sticking her out there. Sticking her out there. Why do you even go get a manicure when you're that ugly? Don't just stick that foot out there. Cut that foot off. Yeah, but nonetheless, they stick her out there like my feet's cute. And she's ugly. Gangrene all in them. So now here she is right there talking about what they're going to be up to. Now, we can't let that happen. But I will say this. If they want to go ahead and further destroy the Democrat Party, continue to stick her out there and let her mess around and get into a position of power. I don't care if she's on the Oversight Committee and the Democrats don't win the House. She ain't going to be doing nothing. Yeah, so if they want to vote her in for that, but we retain the House, she'd just be nothing but what she already is now. A whole bunch of this. So now, with that being said, that's what we're going to get out of the Democrats if they win the House and she becomes a leader. Therefore, we can never let that happen.
Did you make a little news here? Didn't you say you hope to lead that committee?
I absolutely do. Unfortunately, we are going to lay our dear colleague, Jerry Conley, to rest here on Tuesday.
Don't try to act like you're sad over that. Yeah, you're probably happy celebrating this is my big chance to really go ahead and get some power. You sure try to go ahead and pretend? Unfortunately, we have to lay to rest our dear colleague. What's his name again? Anyway, that guy. Yeah. But afterwards, I'm going to take his position. That's what I'm going to do.
And there will have to be an election to determine who is going to lead the Oversight Committee. And ultimately, I am hoping and praying that my colleagues see that I can provide what we need as a team to make sure that we can move forward and instill some confidence in the American people by knowing that they have a real fighter who will not back down, even in the face of all the threats that I will have waged at me. Because Lord knows I get death threats every single day. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that God will never leave my side. And
are those death threats coming from camels who have been robbed of their eyelashes? Or Snuffleupagus that snatches eyelashes? Hello, this is Snuffy. You better bring back my eyelashes. You understand that? Don't let me catch you on the street with them. Don't let me catch you on the street. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. How about getting death threats from Mr. Ed the horse, who you done stole his tail and is rocking right now on TV with that long behind weave hanging off the side? Yeah, that's what I want to know. So with that being said, she's talking about she gonna be fighting for the American people every single day and this and that. I'm going, what people are you talking about? Because if that's the case, you'll be, fighting hand in hand alongside Donald Trump, because all of those red spots on that map, yeah, that's all the people who voted for him. So I guess you're going to be fighting basically for a smaller percentage of the folks that are the resistance, while the majority of the folks are looking at this and going, y'all are always in the way. It appears that the Democrats are in the way. They should be called the in the way party. There you go. Are you in the way party? Okay, yeah, that's exactly what y'all are. Y'all are in the way.
And so I will fight fearlessly and ferociously for the American people.
No, you won't. No, you won't. But anyway, guess who's back? Speaking of women leaders, the cackler, y'all. She struck again. Let's see what the cackler had to say recently. Yeah.
As I said, I think your best work is ahead of me for sure, 100%.
I am unemployed right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she still got it. So there it is. She says she's unemployed right now. Good. Let's keep her that way. But hold on. Wait a minute. Here we go.
No one must speak truth.
When you have the ability to understand the context in which you live, the context in which others live.
All right, you have the ability. So let me get it from the drunk aunt. Okay, baby, let me say something. Come here, baby. You got to have the ability to understand the constant that you live, and the ability to see others in the construct that they live, and all of that. So now, these people paid like $1,500 for this word salad. That's a lot of money for a salad. That's all I'm saying. If I go into a restaurant and I'm going, you know what, I'm a little tight when it comes down to cash, I better just go to the salad menu. And you go there like when I was a young boy and would take a girl out and have to pretend I wasn't that hungry because I didn't have the money. I had to go ahead and allocate all the funds towards her meal and suffer on the back end. I'm just sitting there as she's looking down the menu going, oh, shoot, if she go ahead and get that, that'll leave me about $10 to get a salad. Have to get that salad. I flip it open, $1,500 for the salad? So let's go ahead and hear the salad, because right now, you see that hand from the drunk aunt? She's out here pontificating all that salad all over the place. Here we go.
You're more likely to then connect with them and understand what's important to them.
Right.
But if you are in an interaction where you don't have that level of awareness, they will be aware of that. I mean, this is the thing that I've also known about life, and I'm sure everyone here.
Oh, wait a minute. Did she just get off the road for a second? She was awareness in that. You got to understand. And then this one, this is the thing I know about life. See, okay, wait. All right, let me go ahead and piece this together. Some about knowing yourself, but then knowing others, but awareness. And then this is the thing that you got to know about life. All right, so everybody got that? Okay, let's continue. You got to take notes when you're dealing with the drunk aunt.
Understand. The vast majority of human beings are very intelligent.
And we're not looking at one. We're not looking at one right there. Now, you're one of the least intelligent people, and yet you're sitting on that big stage, vomiting up a word salad. I wonder if the people there know they're getting fed a salad. Not steak, not chicken, a full-blown salad. Yeah, with nothing on it. That's the bad part, but it's just lettuce. Let's continue. Here we go.
Regardless of their education level, regardless of where they're from, and intelligent enough to know whether when you are looking at them, you are looking at them with a level of respect.
Unless you're a Democrat voter. There you go. If you're a Democrat voter, I have to question your at least political IQ, possibly even social IQ. Because, see, they don't look at you with a level of respect. When they come out there and they push crazy behind policies, and they got the nerve to look their voters in the face and tell them that men could be women and women could be men. I think that's the ultimate disrespect. But you're talking about how most people are intelligent. No. If you're sitting back voting for Democrats after they look you in your face and tell you that nonsense, you're not intelligent. You're crazy. Yeah, you're brainwashed, or you're willing to overlook all of your common sense to vote for this raggedy, deceptive party. And here's one of the biggest deceivers right here. feed more word salad. Here we go.
They will know that you are someone who is actually interested in their life and their reality and their fears and their dreams or not. They will know if you are looking at them as a commodity, if you are looking at them as a point on the board.
Well, now, I mean, come on now. I think what she might be describing is how the Democrat Party looks at all of their voters. A commodity. They look at them as drones. They look at them as Muppets. They look at them as a means to an end. That's what they do. Constant disrespect. And shut your mouths while we abuse, your loyalty. That's what they do. But here she is, though. She's trying to say something about some people or something.
As contrasted with looking at them with some concern about whether you can actually improve their life. And that's important, but it requires you to be self-aware enough to understand that you may not understand their life.
You hear that? So that you may not understand their life by understanding their life, but you got to look into their life. Wait, hold on. You got to look into your life so that. All right, I lost my train of thought because I actually honestly don't know what she was saying in the beginning. So somehow we got to look into somebody's life and we got to respect people somewhere. So let's continue. Here we go.
And then do some work to figure out how you can understand it better.
Now, do y'all understand how blessed we were to dodge that bullet? That right there was a silver bullet that would have killed us all. Killed us all. There it is. So we dodged that like the Matrix. Boy, I tell you. Woo, that was a close one, y'all. That's why we can celebrate right now. Yeah, man. Ding dong, the witch is gone, the witch is gone, the witch is gone. But they got other witches right now, and in the queue. Unfortunately, she's, I think, might be leading in the polls to run again. I don't know. I mean, who's that crazy? However, here we go. Let's continue though. So instead of, the Democrats celebrating Memorial Day, it looks like the left has now decided to celebrate their own holiday. And their own holiday, of course, is none other than what? St. George Floyd Day. That's what they were celebrating. St. George Floyd. Did you know that? Did you know there's a holiday now going around for that guy right there who was an awful human being that overdosed and cost a cop his whole life? There it is. Yeah. The Democrats and their desire to divide the country and make us look racist and cause all of this trouble and all that stuff cost that cop his whole life. So now with that being said, let's go ahead and see how they're celebrating St. George Floyd Day while everybody else was celebrating Memorial Day.
Demonstrators gathered and marched through Portland today to remember George Floyd.
For what?
Now, tomorrow marks 5 years since he was murdered by a police officer in Minneapolis, which started racial justice rallies across the country.
Don't say that. The racial justice rallies, you mean riots? I'm sorry, he must have got that wrong in the teleprompter. That started racial justice riots across the country. They're still going ahead and using these, these terms that are incorrect. Like these racial justice riots right here.
They're forced and peaceful protesters.
Including more than 100 consecutive nights of protests here in Portland.
The protests? Or you mean violence? Hundreds and hundreds of nights of protests? You see that? What is he looking at? Let's go ahead and see how those protests looked.
The vast majority of the protests have been peaceful.
And they're going to just pulling people off the street to make it seem like there are problems going on.
Yeah, see those vast majority of the protests in the evening that were sparked up? Yeah, they were celebrating all of that. There you go. That's what they were doing. They were fighting for justice. I didn't know you get justice by burning down stuff. I don't think people are willing to listen to your argument and what you want when you're up there burning. Excuse me. As you're lighting that car on fire, excuse me. What do you guys want? Give me a minute, man. I'm still burning stuff. Okay, I'll stay right here and wait for you to finish burning stuff. What? You want me to give you my money too? No, I'm just here to see exactly what you guys are upset about. Okay, wait, hold on for a second. Here's my wallet. Yeah, as they went through tearing up, burning down stuff, harassing people, killing folks. And if they're, the years of racial justice and protest and stuff.
All that's happening is peaceful protests and our peaceful protesters' ability to get out at night.
Most of these protests have been peaceful.
And to get out at night. There should have been a lockdown and a curfew for all these dodo birds out there burning down stuff and tearing up stuff. While these folks came out and disrespected all of our intelligence. Yeah, that is why this little montage shows just how disrespectful these people are. The fact that they're telling you this, as we're seeing what's going on in the background, shows that these folks were playing you. If you were listening to these idiots and said, well, it doesn't sound like it was too bad. They're saying it was mostly peaceful. You're a dummy. You've been had. Because this is what they were talking about that represents a mostly peaceful protest.
I applaud these protesters. The majority of these protesters are peaceful. They have been peaceful for weeks.
It has continued, for the most part, peaceful.
It was peaceful. We had a number of peaceful protests.
There you go. You see how casually they were able to come out and lie to protect all of their minions that they unleashed on the whole country. Those folks who they went to bat for, and Kamala Harris wanted to get folks bailed out. All of that stuff. And, those folks right there. You leave it up to the Democrat Party to be in charge. They will have these type of things take place anytime that they disagree with some people, or whenever they want to ignite some type of riot or whatever. They'll let them go down there and justify it. They'll let them go down there and commit all kind of violence, and then talking about some other stuff. For the most part, it was cool. I don't know what the problem is. I mean, they only burned down $6 or $7 billion worth of property. Stop whining. It was for racial justice.
Demonstrators have many of the same demands today that they had 5 years ago.
Which is what? What are the demands? I mean, this is the problem. When you have folks who are acting like animals, impulsive, emotional animals that are just lashing out, tearing up stuff, you stick a mic in their face, they will never have a solution to their problem because they're so radical. Yeah, that would eliminate a part of their whole persona. And the whole thing is, I am a radical justice, warrior right here that's out here looking for injustice so I can go ahead and tear up stuff and get mad and stay relevant. So therefore, no matter what you give us, we'll find another problem. And then when you stick a mic in their face, we want the police to get, no, we don't want no police. And we don't want them killing us no more. And what do you want? That's my question. That we didn't already have. So, yeah, they're still wanting what they wanted 5 years ago. So what became of that? What happened as a result of Black Lives Matter? Tell me some good that came out of it. Did the people get money? Did they give the money to oh no, they gave it to all these lesbian leaders in Black Lives Matter? So they can enjoy a life of luxury. That's what came of it. The money didn't go to the neighborhoods that they burned down. No. And these folks that they're still wanting what they wanted 5 years ago, but now they're irrelevant. I don't even know why Black Lives Matter still exists. You got to be an idiot to be out there marching with them or supporting or donating to them.
They're calling for police accountability, racial justice.
What does that even mean? They're calling for police accountability, racial justice. These are just things that they're programmed to say. If you ask them what that looks like, no. What does police accountability looks like? We want police to be accountable if they do wrong things. But so radical that they would say, a wrong thing that a police officer should be accountable for is pulling a black person over, this speeding. You know what? That's racial profiling. No, it's him looking at the radar and saying this guy's doing 85 and a 50. That's all that was. Yeah. So we feel that the police should not be able to question or pull over black people. We want the police to give us escorts to work every day. And we want they're like kids. You give them the choices to make. They'd be like Santa Claus. I want Santa Claus to bring me a flying dog, and I want him to. They don't know what they want. So now here this guy's talking about they want police accountability. And what was the other thing he said that I don't know what that even means again? And they probably don't either. Here we go.
Accountability, racial justice.
Yeah, racial justice. Anybody out there know what racial justice means? It's some of the dumbest stuff. And they think it sounds cool. Racial justice. Now, if you are a dummy, that's right. Racial justice. What does that mean again? So let's continue.
And the hope no one forgets, George Floyd.
Oh, they gonna make sure they don't. Look at that.
We gather in honor of those Americans and so many others.
Yeah, y'all remember that? Nancy Pelosi came out. Thank you, George Floyd, for your sacrifice you've made for the Democrat Party. That's all that was. That man died for nothing. But they took advantage of that death. They're like, oh yeah, thank you for your sacrifice, as if he was dying for the struggle. So now, here they are. You see this party. This should have been the end of the party right here. When I saw this, I said, you got to be kidding me. You got to be. They have no shame. Somebody told them this would be a good idea. Now, what burns me up is black voters didn't punish them for this type of pandering. This is pandering at its greatest. This right here is super pandering. So they came out and dashikis, Calente
Accountability, racial justice.
Let's see
and the
it
hope
again.
no one forgets, George Floyd.
Oh yeah. Have no idea what that stuff means. No idea what these colors represents. Nothing. I mean, the belittling of so many people's intelligence. When I saw that, I said, you got to be kidding me. And you gonna have black folks. I think, you know what, that shows that they're in touch with that. This was the biggest pandering moment of all time.
We gather in honor of those Americans and so many others. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Botham Jean.
You don't care nothing about these people. Yeah, if you ask her now to repeat those people's names without reading off that list, she'll have no idea. Remember, she's like, George Kirby. Thank you, George Kirby. So now, this lady right here and her whole party came out there. Oh, my goodness, man. I'm surprised they didn't have the drummers, the dancers and everything, like Coming to America. So they came out, took a knee for some reason, and couldn't even get up. She had a problem getting up off that crusty knee. So that's how they wanted, to celebrate the George Kirby's death and all of that, to keep it fresh in the minds of everybody. Look what they did. See, this is what we should be remembering when we think of George Floyd. Yeah, not that, he died because of social justice and all that. No, these folks took advantage of that. And they pandered and they disrespected folks' intelligence and pandering to them, all that stuff. And then, of course, they encouraged violence. They drove a wedge between us. And look what else. Look at that. Look at that. That right there is shameful. Man, how in the world could minorities support this party? Do you think these folks are sincere about that? Somebody in a think tank said, you know what? Let's go out and get some kente cloths. And then go out and take a knee. Everybody, take a knee. There it is. That might be popular with us.
Whose lives matter? Black lives matter. Whose lives matter?
Well, now they're out marching again, celebrating St. George Floyd Day. And it don't look like they got the mass group of people like they did back in the past. It's a little light on their march. I'm wondering what happened. Did it die down?
Whose lives matter? Black lives matter.
That white lady.
You ain't black.
Oh, and you ain't Latino. Joe was all out of context with his pandering. Yeah, he took his pandering to every situation. That guy was our president. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Man, I'm telling you, if I was away on another planet and I came back, I'd be going, what has happened to the human species? How did this guy become the president? So now he goes to pander towards some Latinos, and I guess he got his setting mixed up. So his pander nozzle, as he was tweaking it, you know what? Wait, am I over here? Should I be talking about rice and beans? Or should I be what? It's either black people or you know what, the people of color. Never mind, I'm going down on the knee. So this guy right here takes a knee as he's pandering towards Latinos. I don't know. I mean, he's like, I'm going to cover the whole spectrum of pandering. There it is. So this fool with that big mask on his knee, he needs to be kicked in his butt. Whipping. Yeah, come on, Joe. Get up off that knee. Give me something. Oh, here's another pandering moment. Oh, yeah, you see that head? The mayor of what city was that took place in? Oh wait, I almost forgot the city that they burned down. Minneapolis. Yeah, that guy right there. You see him? Yeah, he is weeping and a wailing like his grandmama and them died or something. You ain't black. That's how we act at funerals, man. Get your butt up. When my mom passed away, I ain't never seen my grandmother move that fast. She was sitting down. They went to close that casket. Lula Mae jumped up, went sprinting down the middle of the aisle, jumped on top of that casket. Oh, Lord Jesus, Diane, Lord, take me. I want to go with her. And I'm thinking to myself, if you open that casket and stuff Lula Mae in there, she will quickly start banging on that casket. All right, okay. All right, the show's over. Could you let me out now? I thought I wanted to go with her, but I'm not ready. Yeah, folks, at the black funerals, we do stuff like that. This man don't know George Floyd, and here he is taking a knee. Oh, yeah. And boo-hooing where the head is going up and down. Now, I don't know about you. I got family members that have died, and I didn't cry. This guy goes to this funeral and breaks down. Look at the head. Democrats. Oh, man. So now here's the WNBA. Instead of just shutting up and shooting, they got to come out now to celebrate St. George Floyd Day.
Thank you guys for taking a minute to honor the life of George Floyd. George was a father, a brother, and a son.
Oh, you forgot a criminal, a drug addict, and a person who stuck a pregnant woman up with a pistol. You forgot those things. See, isn't that odd? So these folks are still in pander mode. Why? You would think they would let the George Floyd thing go. You would think all of the data now that we have about this guy's life and what he was doing and what he was about and his character, these are the people that they elevate. Talking about honor George Floyd's life. No. I mean, his life was raggedy. That's like a preacher coming to preach the eulogy of somebody, you know, and you have to, we come to honor his life. I know he was a drug addict, and sometime he was a drug dealer, but he was getting high off his own supply. And in the middle of that, he would slap his wife around every once in a while. But that's just human. Everybody got to do a little slapping once in a while. Yes. Sitting up there preaching, and you going, that dude was raggedy. You know, I'll never forget, my grandfather died on Lula Mae's husband, my Henry, the one who was the meanest man I ever met with my naked eyeball. And the preacher got up there and he couldn't even come up with nothing good. He had to preach and eulogize my grandmother who was still alive. He's like, Mr. B was, you know what? Lula Mae, you know Lula Mae got to be a great woman if she stayed with Mr. Ellaby. And everybody's like, amen to that. She's sitting there like, what I got to do with this? But he couldn't find nothing to say about Henry, because Henry was a mess, you know. And so, you know, you don't get up there and talk about how great somebody is. You can't sit back and live wrong but die right. You telling me right there at that moment, George Floyd, you know, was transformed from being a raggedy criminal drug addict to now an honorable saint that we have to celebrate his life. What they're really doing is celebrating his death, not his life, because his life was horrible. So now all of a sudden he dies the right way for the left to get angry and use, you know, politically. The right way meaning you got killed by a white cop. Yeah, so therefore we're gonna make you a hero. That's all you did. That's your legacy. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong drugs in my system and rejected getting my butt in the car. I can't be in here, man. I'm paranoid. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. Well, they let you out, put you on the ground. Come to find out later on, like I said, that drug in his system ended up taking him out. But these fools, 5 years later, all the negativity that came out of that man's death destroyed our country. Nothing positive came out of that man's death. To them, it was positive because, they stirred up racial division. And of course, to the lesbians that had Black Lives Matter, they made a lot of money. But that is it. That is the only thing that came out of that. A lot of destruction, death, division, hate, anger, stupidity.
In his life, like every life, held meaning. His death exposed the holes that are still in our justice and criminal institutions today. And his 5-year anniversary.
Got the itchy throat. Sorry. You hear that? The holes and stuff in our racial, our justice system and stuff like that. You know what I think exposed those holes? When we saw our justice system used, obviously, to target the leading candidate in the Republicans' party. Yeah. When I saw that, I said, now that justice system is tainted. Yeah, Laquifa James just went after Donald Trump and, tried to seize his properties and stuff like that. They're trying to throw that man in prison because the people love him, because they know they can't beat him heads up. There it is. They're taking his mugshot. And no wonder a lot of black people were going, yeah, I can relate to that because I can see how obvious it is that they're abusing the justice system and stuff like that. But here she is, saying that the cracks and stuff in our justice. How many black men recently have been killed? So when was the last black man that was killed by the cops, after George Floyd, that drummed up or struck up any type of legitimate, controversy or anger or any of that stuff? I'm like, okay, you would think based on what she's saying right now, it's a pandemic. It's an epidemic. Everybody, these are happening every couple of weeks, and there's so many flaws in the justice system and stuff like that. We're living in an age right now where if you're in a woke city, your police are afraid to even look at a black person. Yeah, up in Minneapolis, how they, just completely emasculated the police department. They're sitting there going, man, I ain't going down there. Let those folks down there in the hood act a fool. And these S-hole ran cities by Democrats who have undermined the police, defunded the police, demonized the police. And here she is talking about that the holes in our justice system and stuff.
Reminds us that we must continue the fight against criminal, racial, and social injustices.
Look at all, 12 or 13 people? So it appears that those very small group of people did not come out there to listen to you talk about George Floyd and his life and injustice and stuff like that. They came to see basketball, apparently, which is shocking because most of the time they don't even come out to female basketball. But nonetheless, they came and then they got an ear for a lecture about George Floyd's life.
My God.
Yepper. There it goes.
Taking Smith on the attack.
Oh. Yes, they need to be more focused on being able to make buckets. That's what they need to be focusing on instead of the life of George Floyd.
What did I miss? Not a damn thing.
Oh, boy. But wait, before we go, guys, we need to go ahead and check in overseas, y'all, because I don't want to just be a person who covers news stories locally. We got to see what's going on overseas, So let's.
So what do you want to call it? The slap heard across the world.
A slap.
Brilliant. I'm going to be honest with you.
Is he about to show Will Smith when he smacked Chris Rock? Who are you talking about, sir?
With you, it's Monday. I had no idea we'd see the leader of France get slapped on an airplane, but here we are.
What? The little teeny bitty polka dot bikini man from France who's always in an arm wrestling match with Donald Trump and never wins the match. That guy. Let's see what happened.
The door opens. Bam!
Oh!
You see?
Oh my. Wow. Okay, let's see here how he just played that off. Now let's see. I want y'all to pay attention to the because they tried to say they were just playing and stuff. But look at
But
this.
here we are.
Here we are.
The door open.
Yeah. Bring it. And look at his face. Like, oh shoot, the door's open. They just saw that. I thought, let me throw a quick smile. Here we go.
You see?
Hey everybody. Y'all didn't see nothing. How embarrassing is this? What is going on with the little teeny Frenchman? First of all, I heard his wife's like 20 years older than him. I guess they started kicking it when he was in high school. What is going on with that? You got to be kidding me, man. She must have this dude henpecked, but she just mugged his face. And he like, oh, shoot, they're looking at me. Unbelievable. Man, I tell you right now, France right now is at its weakest state. Boy, they better hope they're not invaded by anybody right about now. I'm telling you. Because they got that guy still. Isn't he supposed to be gone? Unbelievable.
It's all around the world. Look at the language here, all the different countries, and he waves at the camera like, hello.
As he's trying to downplay video that apparently shows his wife Brigitte shoving
my
his face
goodness.
in the video.
What did I just see?
Preparing to
There it is.
train
You
in
see it?
Vietnam.
Right there. And y'all see the circle? Keep your eyes on the circle. Keep your eyes on the circle.
Macron's tour of Southeast Asia.
Bang! Slow motion. Oh, shoot. Hi, everybody. Let's see. Here we go.
Office dismissed.
Take that, little French man. That's hilarious. Boy, I tell you, man. Woo-wee. But I guess she's not going to be like accused of having toxic femininity or something like that. She's able to get away with that. No Me Too for the Frenchman. None of that stuff. So now let's go to Australia and see what they're talking about. Because it appears that Australia got some stupid woke leaders. Stupid woke leaders, man. They just, for whatever reason, this anti-Israeli sentiment is growing around the globe. So as Australia is being plagued with a lot of radical Islam down there. Radical Islam. I ain't talking about I'm just Muslim here. Leave me be. Radical Islam. Their leaders pandering towards, Hamas, I guess.
Australia finds these actions as completely unacceptable, and we find Israel's excuses and explanations completely untenable and without credibility.
Without credibility? Don't Hamas still have criminals? I mean, I'm sorry. Don't Hamas still have, hostages from Israel? And he's talking about on a tiny boat and it's completely uncut. And I'm thinking, now, wait a minute. They ain't give back the hostages yet? I mean, should we just give up on them? That's my question. So here this guy's, for whatever reason, upset that Israel is making more efforts to go in and get those hostages. Dead or alive, I guess. But he got a problem with it. See, he got a problem with it. So let's see.
People are starving.
Starving.
And the idea that a democratic state withholds supply is an outrage.
Outrage. A democratic state holds supply is an outrage. Now, are you getting this right? Do you have all the facts, Mr. Australian man? That's what I'm going. As the Muslim community that is radical down in Australia is, all about getting rid of Israel. You don't hear them doing the chants down there, and the little kids that they even have doing chants down there about the Intifada and all of that stuff. You're not hearing all of that stuff, so you're outraged.
Now, that is my clear position. It's one I've indicated clearly and directly to the Israeli government.
And it's the same government, though, that wants to control speech, control the internet, all of that stuff, talking about hate speech and, Elon Musk and all of this stuff. See, it just appears that all these countries who used to be reliable as allies are starting to drift so far left that I can't recognize these people. These people are siding with some of the dumbest stuff. And I'm saying, boy, it makes me look at these countries and I say, I don't know if I'd ever want to go visit. I want to see the land down in Australia. But when I look at the way that they're approaching globalism and politics and, some of the issues that are near and dear to my heart, I'm going, can't support it. Yeah, got the guns from all the people, then forced them into lockdowns and forced them into masks and forced them into camps and stuff and isolations and mess like that. So let's continue though, because watch, he's about to get embarrassed.
One that we'll continue to be a part of.
Well, Albanese should listen to Palestinians themselves. Not the pro-Palestinian greenies here in Australia, but actual Palestinians living in Gaza.
Oh, so not the folks down there just rocking around free Palestine down there in Australia. The real ones over there in Gaza that don't like Hamas. So instead of listening to what they're feeling and saying about Hamas, this guy's listening to the radical folks down in his own country talking about it's a genocide and free Palestine. Let's see what the folks up there are saying about Hamas in Palestine.
They've spent much of the past week bravely risking their lives to protest Hamas.
What?
The mainstream media has almost entirely downplayed or blacked out this story.
Why is that? Because see, all of those folks over here in the United States who's been walking around talking free Palestine, that is the luxury protest right here. That is I could protest freely with no risk. You're not a real protester. You're not about it if you protesting in friendly conditions. You see folks over here dressed up like transgenders, talking about transgenders for Palestine, free Palestine. Now, if you're really a protester, you'll do what those folks are doing over there against Hamas. They're over there protesting in the face of legitimate threat to their life. Y'all are in nice, comfortable, liberal cities and down in Australia protesting, talking about Antifada and all over the place where nobody's coming to behead you. Nobody's coming to hack you up. Nobody's coming to kill you. Yeah, walking around, everything about you is anti-Hamas. Aren't you a pale-faced white girl with blue eyes that is binary, gender binary, and you got a burqa on that's talking about free Palestine? Knowing that jack you up? Aren't you a big gay dude? You're walking around big as Grimace and got dressed up with all the stuff talking about I'm a transgender for Palestine. You're a big transgender that they would use to throw off of a building over there. So these folks who be over here talking about protesting for Palestine, and many of them wouldn't even pass the test of being able to live over there under Hamas. And yet you got these folk over there protesting against Hamas with danger like this. Why ain't the media covering this?
Of Palestinians turning against Hamas, even at the risk of torture or death.
What?
But have a look at these protests in Gaza. Again, not against Israel, but against Hamas.
Oh my. So you telling me these people over there finally getting sick of Hamas running that area over there? The same Hamas who started the war and then ran back into the population thinking that now it's going to make Israel look real bad if they come in looking for us and accidentally start killing some citizens, then we can just make them look like the bad guys. Make them look like the bad guys. And if resources are sent to them, we're going to confiscate that. We're going to take those resources because, we're running our PR campaign too to make Israel look like they're the bad guys. Yeah, we socked them in the eye, took off running, and when they pursued us, then all of a sudden, they chasing me. So now look at these people saying, we're sick of Hamas. Yeah, they're protesting against Hamas. Now, I will support this group of people. Why aren't all of those protesters going over there and joining this group? Why aren't they sitting back saying, yeah, let's go ahead instead of talking about free Palestine from Hamas? These people aren't talking about Israel, they're talking about Hamas.
These Palestinian families are extremely courageous to do this because the first wave of that protest movement against Hamas in March ended in tragedy.
How?
Hamas tracked down the 22-year-old leader of the protests and tortured him.
What? I thought Hamas was all about freedom of speech and freedom of expression and equality and all of that stuff. I thought that's what they were about. As we got Americans over here running around killing folks on behalf basically of Hamas, not Palestine, because those folks that were saying, protesting against Hamas, yeah, I can see that. I'm sure they probably wouldn't have said, yo, we want y'all to go around killing folks on our behalf. No, they should be focused on saying, get Hamas out of power and turn the power back over to the people of Palestine. But instead, what are they throwing? Free Palestine. So they weren't upset when this young man ended in tragedy because he was protesting against Hamas, the tolerant, loving, inclusive Hamas. Are you kidding me?
Tying him by his neck with a rope and then dragging and beating him.
Robbie's family says he was killed by Hamas militants, tortured to death for publicly criticizing Hamas.
Just for publicly criticizing Hamas. Tortured to death. There it is, guys. So you can't even criticize Hamas over there, even if you're Palestinian. Are you saying that? So then how do you fare? Think that all of these radical Americans that's been brainwashed over here, that don't fit the profile of Hamas, how do you think they would fare over there? If they love Palestine that much and they support all of this mess, take them all and shove them over there. Yeah, go ahead. Go over there talking about the free Palestine and see what happened to you. So if they're willing to do this to this man who criticized Hamas, one of their own people, what do you think they're going to do to the big transgender guy?
Robbie's brother, Hassan, told CNN his brother was abducted from the streets of Gaza City by a group of Hamas militants.
Now, if Albanese cared about the Palestinian movement, he would listen to what they're saying and fight for the removal of the terror regime.
No, because he likes that too. Apparently, these new modern Western leaders, they like that type of control too. Keep the people suppressed, scared of the government, scared to criticize the government, all of that stuff. So now, instead of him talking about some get rid of Hamas, he's going against Israel and stuff.
Yet he describes Israel as outrageous.
It is outrageous. That there be a blockade of food and supplies to people who are in need in Gaza.
It's outrageous.
You know what's outrageous, Prime Minister? It's the fact that there are still 50 hostages in Gaza. Imagine if 50 Australians, sons, daughters, parents, were rotting in tunnels under the constant threat of execution.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't care about that. He probably wouldn't go get them. I thought that's just a small price to pay for the freedom and justice of all the Palestinians that died over the year. Yeah, he probably wouldn't do nothing. So this woman's mad about this. Not only that, she's about to go ahead and debunk his lies.
And had been there for nearly 600 days, deprived of basic human rights. Would the Prime Minister then call a rescue mission outrageous? Or would he launch immediate action, similar to what Israel is in desperation taking now?
Nah, because see, I smell softness on that guy. That's what I smell. I smell a Macron on that guy right there. These Western leaders don't have the gonads. They're not built tough at all. They're soft. That's why they submitted to globalism. That's why they're always submitting to any little small group of protest or resistance and stuff. They always side with allegedly the victims, and they're weak. They're soft-core, weak leaders. And I can smell it on him. But not only that, look at this.
It's also well known and widely reported that Hamas has been looting aid and food that Israel delivers to Gaza.
What?
And this is now indisputable. Hamas is hijacking humanitarian aid, hoarding it, and extorting their own people by selling food at inflated prices on the black market.
No way. No way would Hamas be doing that to their own people, right? Because apparently Israel's not giving humanitarian aid to these people. Let's see.
But Albanese conveniently ignores this fact as he presents his biased, one-sided view.
What?
He should acknowledge that Hamas is responsible for depriving Palestinians of food. And when he claims aid isn't entering, it's simply not true.
It's not?
This is the real picture of how much aid Israel has actually delivered to Gaza in the past week.
Wait a minute. Somebody go get the little Australian man chicken. Somebody just called the Australian man chicken. Yeah, he's a man chicken. So wait, look at this, guys. Look at this. This is all the food that he said that they're withholding. Here you go.
Flour, baby formula, medicine, and medical supplies. Since the beginning of the war, the IDF has facilitated the entry of over 1.7 million tons of humanitarian aid into Gaza. Just this past week, from Monday to Saturday, 388 aid trucks delivered food, baby formula, flour for bakeries, medicine, and medical equipment.
Somebody go get that little Australian man chicken. Thank you for giving me a new nickname for him. Yeah, did he not see all these trucks and these convoys of all of this supply and stuff like that? He didn't see that? But it's this outrageous building humanitarian aid.
Food aid truck entries have been conducted in accordance with the situation assessment and in order to prevent any shortages. In recent days, hundreds of trucks have entered Gaza, including significant quantities of baby food and flour for bakeries. What? The IDF, along with international partners, will continue to facilitate aid into Gaza.
Israel.
I mean, this isn't that hard to find. Before you get up there criticizing Israel, you didn't say, well, is it true? You didn't call up Bibi and ask, hey, man, what's going on over there? Maybe you can shed light on it. Nope, just jumped out there attacking Israel. And that's a whole bunch of food. I wonder what happened to it.
Israel is acting in accordance with the 4th Geneva Convention. It is trying to defeat the terrorists and bring home its hostages, as it is obligated to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But a man chicken wouldn't care about that stuff. Yeah, just like our man chicken who just got bounced out of office, Joe Biden. Never went back, as far as I know, to get those people from Afghanistan. I'm just saying. So now, we're gonna go ahead. We're coming down to the end, y'all, because we got a surprise at the end of the show. But the angry African responded to Trump the other day in the Oval Office, where he was talking to the South African, president. Well, apparently that angry man in all those clips who was talking about kill the white farmer, he saw the video and he didn't like it. So here's his response, y'all. Here we go. Yeah, we're coming
I will never be intimidated by America. I will never be intimidated by Donald Trump.
By Donald Trump.
Speaking about me in that meeting at White House. If they were not gossiping about me, they should have called me into that meeting. I would have answered everything that Donald Trump wanted from.
Well, I don't know about that. You seem pretty angry. I think you would have came in there as angry man. Who you talking to, fool? Yeah, you would have came there like Mr. T. I pity the fool who asked me questions. So yeah, there's that guy's response. He ain't scared of Donald Trump. He ain't scared of Donald Trump and stuff like that. Well, you don't have to be scared of Donald Trump. However, we're going to continue doing the things that we do as a country by, of course, welcoming, I guess, anybody who wants to come that are worried about the angry black African man right there and feel like their life is threatened. And maybe if y'all start getting isolated by some of the more conscious, say, countries that are saying, look, man, y'all can't just be blatantly going and trying to kill, folks like that and stuff like that. We can't do business with you. Then maybe the African government will say, look, y'all are costing all of us. We're being isolated because of this radical movement here. And we gotta shut you up, man. Because at the end of the day, if the crap hits the fan and enough people decide, man, we don't want a piece of South Africa right now because of what's going on, and that country start to really feel it and start to collapse financially, and just everything, they'll figure out what we got to do to make changes to invite other people back in to get involved and support South Africa. So go ahead, unless that guy has a plan to make sure he supply jobs and food and all that stuff for his country, then he needs to probably shut up. I'd love to hear his plan moving forward to solve some of the issues in South Africa, and besides kill the white farmer. So we're going to close, guys, with a conservative parent's worst nightmare. Can you imagine being a MAGA parent and all of a sudden somebody come home, mom, dad, this is my girlfriend or boyfriend, and you find out that they're liberal. Look what happened with this prank that they pulled on these conservative parents. So let's check this out. Here we go.
Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.
Now, you see the setup, right? They went through extreme, planning for this. They got the fake protesters over there. All right, guys, see you later. Gotta go. They got the cameras in the building.
Hi, babe.
Oh, hey.
How are you?
Hi, babe. How are you?
Do I have consent? Yeah. Okay. How are you? How are you?
Asked her if he could kiss her. Now, this father looks like a true conservative. Big. You see them forearms on that dude right there? So both of them are like, okay, we just saw this man across the street protesting, talking about, hey, ho, Donald Trump has got to go. So right now, they're keeping it cool.
Kyle. We don't have coffee here. That's just a bit upsetting. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, what's your pronouns? Are you he, she, or they?
Look at the dad. I'm sorry, what's your pronouns? Are you he, she, or they? Look at the father. The father's like, oh, God. I'm telling you, man, I'm feeling this pain. But see, what's funny about this is how conservatives see all these liberals. I mean, they should be able to watch this skit and say, do we really look like that? I mean, is that what people see when they see us? Or do they really? This is how they act. So the dad already is starting to show signs of, disgust. He's like, oh, shoot. How did my baby girl bring home this guy? Here we go.
Them? Okay, them. Them, I will have the mushroom quesadilla, yeah. Thank you, them.
Look. You see the father? Oh, my goodness. My man is like, are you sure? He gave the wife the side eye, y'all. Like, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this, honey? Like, keep it together. She's probably elbowing him under the table, like, keep it together. Here we go.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. Kyle, hold on. Sir. Hold on. Excuse me, sir. Sir, how does it feel to be driving a fascist mobile? Great car. Yeah, I can actually.
Now, they got all of these actors. I'm like, man, they put this whole thing together. They brought in the Trump guy with the hat. And he's like, excuse me, sir. How does it feel to be driving a fascist mobile? And he's like, calm down, man. Calm down. Here we go.
I should drive myself. I don't need a self-driving car.
Kyle, listen. Are you trying to piss us off? Because I'm getting pissed off.
Uh-oh. You see the wife come off the bench. She's like, you know what? I ain't going to elbow you no more. I'll handle this. Are you trying to piss us off? Because you know what? Now I'm getting pissed off. And that's exactly what Kyle's doing. That's what he's doing. So here we go.
Well, I'm pissed off too because there's a Make America Great Again hat. There's a Tesla here. And this country is going fascist right in front of us.
You don't even fascist means.
Man, you don't want no problems out of that dude right there. You don't even know what an effing fascist mean. But this is how liberals see. This is what they do. This guy right here is playing his part to a T. And those parents, man, are like, right now they're thinking, when this is over, I'm gonna have a talk with my daughter. Like, why did you bring this dude over? He gonna be so mad, probably can't talk. Here we go.
No. I'll show you what fascist means.
Whoa! Easy, Tiger. I'll show you what fascist means. Did you see the old man get up? The old man got up like, man, no, I'm gonna show you. So let's see what Kyle does to go ahead and drive home the whole prank, okay? So, because the dad's about to beat him up, honestly. You can see that. But he runs right past the dad. Let's see what he does. Here we go. Look, the old man is like, look. I feel his pain. I'm telling you, man. I would have been the same way. Like, man, I'm about to get up and knock this little dude out. The old man holding back. Here we go.
I'll show you what fascist means.
I'll show you what fascist means.
I'll show you what fascist means. Fascist. Yeah. Enough AI. I'm done with that AI.
Look at this.
Guys, you guys are on a hidden prank show.
Look. The old man is heated. He's sitting there like, still breathing. Like, man. So they went all the way with this prank. Beautifully done. Even to the point where they broke the window out the back of the Tesla just to drive it home. Look at the mother. The mother was like, boy, man, don't be playing like that. Don't be playing that. She looked like she was like, man, my husband was 2 seconds away from going to jail. Yeah, this better have been a prank. So now you see, that, of course, would be indeed a conservative parent's worst nightmare. to have your husband, your daughter or son bring home somebody like that. Knowing how you are, knowing what you believe, and they bring somebody around, you talk about stuff. This is a fascist place. What's your pronouns? He, she, they, them, what? That, man, that was great. Beautifully done. I wonder how much money they had to put into just putting together that prank. Who paid for the window of the Tesla? That's my question. But that was so wonderfully done. It shows just how crazy and radical the left is. And that acting and scenario ain't that far off. I can actually envision something like that happening. Yeah, I can see it. I'm like, yeah, that's not out of the realm of, reality. They probably would do something like that, and hopefully they're able to look at that skit and realize how stupid and crazy they appear. So God bless y'all. God bless America. I thought that was a pretty good prank right there. So let me share that with the people just in case they didn't see it. Make sure you hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other platforms. And I should be back tomorrow. If you want to support the channel through my Cash App or PayPal, you can. My links are below the videos. And check out Kevin's Corner Store. Also, don't forget to text MAGA to this number, just in case you haven't, 330-974-4607. This way we can stay connected just in case something happens. And other than that, I should be back tomorrow, y'all. Yeah, man. This is our city. Up north, down, hands around y'all throats. Yeah. Take care.